The mansion had fallen completely silent. Outside, the night was calm. Inside the living room, Emma was already fast asleep. Her head rested peacefully against Sophia's shoulder. One arm remained loosely wrapped around her. Her breathing had become slow, steady. Completely unaware that the woman holding her couldn't sleep at all, Sophia stared quietly ahead. She'd tried closing her eyes, once, twice, again. It didn't help, because every time she did, the same moment returned. Emma moving closer, their hands intertwined, Emma looking at her lips, and then that kiss. Sophia's fingers unconsciously touched her own lips. She could still remember the surprise, the warmth, the moment she'd stopped thinking, closed her eyes, placed her hand against Emma's neck, and kissed her back. Sophia slowly looked down. Emma slept peacefully against her, as though she hadn't just completely destroyed Sophia's ability to think. A tiny smile appeared. "What are you doing to me, Emma?" Emma shifted in her sleep. Sophia immediately became still. Instead of waking, Emma only moved closer. Her cheek settled more comfortably against Sophia's shoulder. Sophia stared down at her, and despite everything, her smile grew. Then, another memory returned. "Then ask me tomorrow, if I still want to kiss you." Sophia's smile slowly disappeared. Tomorrow. It had sounded so simple last night. Now, the word terrified her. What if Emma woke up embarrassed? What if she regretted everything? What if the alcohol had made the decision, and not Emma? Sophia looked down. Emma's hand rested loosely beside hers, very carefully. Sophia slipped her fingers between Emma's, their hands intertwined. Emma didn't wake. Sophia looked at their joined hands for a long moment. "You better remember." Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Because I don't think I could forget." And perhaps, for the first time in Sophia Bennett's life, she wasn't worried about losing control of a company, a negotiation, or some carefully constructed plan. She was afraid of waking up tomorrow and discovering that a kiss which meant everything to her had meant nothing to Emma. Morning sunlight slowly entered the living room. Golden light stretched across the floor. The mansion began waking around them. Emma stirred. Her eyes opened, then immediately closed again. Her head hurt. Her neck was stiff, and something warm was wrapped around her. Emma slowly opened her eyes again. She looked down, then froze. She was still on the sofa, curled against Sophia. Sophia's arm rested gently around her, and their hands were still intertwined. Emma stared at their fingers. Oh no. Then, the memories returned. Not gradually, all at once. Sophia, waiting for her, the glass of water. "Did you miss me?" Emma telling Sophia she'd missed her, holding her hand, moving closer, looking at her lips, and then Emma kissing her. Emma's free hand immediately flew to her mouth. Her heart began pounding. I kissed Sophia. Her cheeks burned. Then another memory followed. Sophia's initial surprise. Sophia's eyes slowly closing, her hand moving behind Emma's neck, and Sophia kissing her back. Emma stopped breathing for a second, and she kissed me back. Suddenly, her headache didn't seem important anymore. Emma carefully moved away, trying not to wake Sophia. She sat upright on the edge of the sofa. Her fingertips remained against her lips. She expected regret, embarrassment, maybe even horror at what she'd done while drunk. Instead, when Emma remembered Sophia's lips against hers, she wanted to do it again. That realization frightened her more than the kiss itself. Emma slowly looked back. Sophia was still asleep. without her usual serious expression. She looked peaceful, gentle, nothing like the intimidating CEO Emma had first met. Somewhere along the way, this woman had become the person Emma thought about before falling asleep, the person she looked for every morning, the person whose jealousy secretly made her smile, the person she wanted to come home to. Emma swallowed, then quietly admitted, "I really like her." She stared at Sophia. "This is bad." A pause. "Really bad." But the smile slowly appearing across Emma's face said something completely different. Sophia began to stir. Emma immediately looked away. Sophia slowly opened her eyes for one peaceful second. She seemed to forget everything. Then she saw Emma. The kiss returned to her mind instantly. Sophia sat upright. Their eyes met. Both women immediately looked somewhere else. "Good morning." Emma nervously fixed her hair. "Morning." Silence. Neither knew what to say. Emma stared toward the windows. Sophia looked at the coffee table. But both were thinking about exactly the same thing. Sophia remembered Emma's promise. "Ask me tomorrow." This was tomorrow. Her heartbeat became faster. She hated that. Sophia Bennett didn't become nervous asking questions, yet. This question felt more frightening than any business negotiation she'd ever entered. She took a quiet breath. "Emma." Emma slowly looked over. Sophia hesitated, then finally, "Do you remember last night?" Emma's heart stopped. There it was. The question. She knew exactly what Sophia meant. She should have answered immediately. Yes. She remembered. She remembered everything. And she still wanted it. But suddenly, another possibility entered her mind. What if Sophia was asking because she regretted kissing her back? What if Sophia wanted Emma to say she didn't remember, so they could pretend nothing happened? Emma's courage disappeared. Fear took its place. And before she could stop herself, she lied. "Last night," Sophia waited. Emma forced herself to look confused. "I don't really remember." Sophia became completely still. Emma couldn't look directly at her. Why? A nervous pause. Did I do something? Silence. Sophia stared at her. Last night, Emma had held her hand, asked her not to leave, told her she didn't regret what she'd done, and made Sophia promise to ask again in the morning. Sophia had barely slept. She had replayed every second, wondered what Emma would say, waited for this exact moment. And now, Emma remembered none of it. Sophia slowly looked away, before Emma could see. Her eyes had already begun filling with tears. She blinked quickly, then rolled her eyes upward, refusing to let them fall. Her jaw tightened. She forced her voice to remain steady. "No." Emma looked toward her. Sophia swallowed. Nothing happened. A pause. Then, more quietly. "Nothing important." Emma's chest immediately tightened. Those words hurt far more than she expected, because she knew they weren't true. It had been important to Emma, and judging by the look Sophia was desperately trying to hide, it had been important to her too. Emma watched Sophia stand. The lie suddenly felt unbearable. She wanted to reach for her, tell her everything, tell her she remembered holding her hand, remembered kissing her, remembered Sophia kissing her back. But the same fear stopped her again. Sophia picked up her phone from the coffee table. Her back remained toward Emma. "Sophia?" Sophia stopped. Emma's lips parted. "I remember." The words were right there, but they wouldn't come. Instead, Emma whispered, "Are you okay?" Sophia closed her eyes briefly, then turned around. Her expression was calm again. too calm. I'm fine. Emma knew immediately she wasn't. Sophia walked away. Emma remained on the sofa, watching her disappear. And for the first time that morning, Emma understood exactly what her fear had done. She had hurt Sophia. By the time Emma entered the dining room, Sophia was already dressed for work. Her dark hair was pulled into a sleek, high ponytail. A deep navy suit replaced the softer clothes she'd worn during the night. The vulnerable Sophia from the sofa was gone. Miss Bennett had returned. Breakfast waited on the table, but Sophia's plate remained untouched. Emma quietly sat across from her. Yesterday, this same dining room had felt warm, comfortable, almost like they had been married for years. Today, the silence felt unbearable. Emma reached toward her tea. Sophia stood. Emma immediately looked up. "You're not eating?" Sophia picked up her handbag. "I'm not hungry." Emma's eyes moved toward the untouched breakfast. Sophia didn't look at her. "The driver will take you to the office." Emma frowned. "What about you?" "I have something to take care of." Emma watched her carefully. "Are you coming later?" Sophia hesitated. "I don't know." Then, without another word, she walked away. Emma remained at the table, watching the doorway long after Sophia had disappeared. Her own breakfast sat untouched in front of her. Suddenly, she wasn't hungry either. A few minutes later, Emma stepped outside. The black sedan waited near the mansion entrance. The driver opened the rear passenger door, but Emma didn't immediately get inside. She looked back toward the mansion. Some part of her hoped Sophia would appear, walk down those steps, open the car door like she always did, sit beside Emma, maybe give her one more chance to tell the truth. But the entrance remained empty. The driver waited patiently. "Ready, Mrs. Bennett?" Emma forced a small smile. "Yeah." She climbed inside. The door closed. Emma looked toward the seat beside her. Empty. For the first time since their honeymoon. She was going to Bennett Corporation alone. And somehow, that empty seat made one thing painfully clear. Last night, Emma had been afraid of what would happen if she admitted the truth. This morning, she was beginning to realize she might be even more afraid of what would happen because she hadn't. The drive to Bennett Corporation felt longer than usual. Emma sat quietly in the back seat. The city moved past the window, but she barely noticed any of it. Her thoughts remained at the mansion, with Sophia, with the look on her face, when Emma had said she didn't remember. Emma leaned her head against the window. She could still hear Sophia's voice. "Nothing important." Emma closed her eyes. Idiot. She wasn't talking about Sophia. She was talking about herself. When Emma arrived at Bennett Corporation, she tried to act normal. She really did. She sat at her desk, opened her laptop, checked her emails, started working through the reports waiting for her, but every few minutes, her eyes wandered toward the executive floor. Sophia's office was empty. Emma checked the time. 10:30. Still nothing. Maybe Sophia really did have something to take care of. Emma tried to convince herself of that. She returned to her report. A few minutes later, she looked again. Still empty. A co-worker passing her desk noticed. "Emma?" Emma quickly looked away. You okay?" Emma forced a small smile. "Yeah. Just distracted." The co-worker nodded and continued walking. Emma looked toward Sophia's office again. She wasn't distracted. She was worried. 11:15. Sophia still hadn't arrived. Emma finally gave up pretending she could concentrate. She picked up her phone, opened Sophia's contact, and stared at the screen. Her thumb hovered over the call button. Maybe Sophia needed space. After this morning, Emma couldn't exactly blame her, but she needed to know she was okay. Emma pressed call. The phone rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Emma waited. Come on, Sophia. 4 times. 5. No answer. The call ended. Emma slowly lowered the phone. She stared at the screen, hoping Sophia would call back. 1 minute passed, then 2. Nothing. Lunch came. Emma barely noticed. Her co-workers talked around her. Someone laughed. Someone asked her a question. Emma answered automatically. Her mind was somewhere else. Finally, she picked up her phone again. Still nothing. No call. No message. Emma opened their conversation. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. There were so many things she wanted to write. I lied. I remember everything. I'm sorry. Please talk to me. Instead, fear won again. Emma typed, Are you coming to the office today? She stared at the message, then pressed send. Delivered. Emma waited. Nothing. 5 minutes, 10, 20. Still nothing. She placed her phone beside the keyboard, but every time the screen lit up, her eyes immediately jumped toward it. An email, a notification, a coworker, never Sophia. An hour later, the message remained unanswered. Emma quietly locked her phone. Somehow, Sophia's silence hurt more than anger would have. The afternoon dragged on. Emma tried burying herself in work, reports, emails, meetings, anything that required enough concentration to keep Sophia out of her head. It didn't work. Every empty chair reminded her of Sophia. Every time someone walked past, Emma looked up. Every time the elevator doors opened, her heart jumped. But Sophia never appeared. By the end of the workday, Emma had stopped expecting her to. The black sedan brought Emma home alone. The moment the mansion doors opened, Emma stepped inside. Her eyes immediately moved toward the staircase. Empty. Then the living room. Empty. She listened. Nothing. Emma turned toward one of the staff members nearby. Has Sophia come home? The staff member shook their head. No. Mrs. Bennett? Emma's heart sank. Oh. She looked toward the entrance again. Okay. She walked farther into the mansion. Her footsteps echoed across the marble floor. The house had always been enormous. Tonight, it felt even bigger, all because one person wasn't there. Dinner was served at the usual time. Emma sat down. Across from her, Sophia's chair remained empty. A plate had been prepared for her, untouched. Emma stared at it. She remembered breakfast. Sophia hadn't eaten then either. A staff member approached quietly. Would you like me to keep Mrs. Bennett's dinner warm? Emma looked toward Sophia's empty chair. Yes, please. Of course. The staff member walked away. Emma picked up her fork. She stared at her food, then placed the fork back down. She couldn't eat. Not while she had no idea where Sophia was. Emma reached for her phone again. No messages. She called. It rang and rang. No answer. Emma slowly placed the phone beside her plate. Her own dinner remained untouched too. 9 o'clock. No Sophia. 10 o'clock. Still nothing. By 10:47, Emma had changed out of her work clothes, but she hadn't gone upstairs. She couldn't. Instead, she sat curled up on the living room sofa, a cushion hugged tightly against her chest. Her phone remained in her hand. Emma stared toward the mansion entrance. Every small sound made her look up. Nothing. She called again. No answer. Emma lowered the phone. Where are you? Silence answered her. She hugged the cushion tighter. At first, Emma had thought Sophia was angry. Then she thought Sophia simply needed space. But now, the anger didn't matter anymore. Emma was beginning to get scared. 11:30. Emma was still waiting. Her phone sat in her hands. Sophia's unanswered calls filled the screen. And finally, with no one there to hear her, Emma stopped pretending. She covered her face with both hands. Why did I lie? Her voice cracked. She already knew the answer. Because she was scared. Scared that Sophia would say the kiss was a mistake. Scared that Sophia had only kissed her back. Because Emma had kissed her first. Scared that Emma had imagined every little sign, every jealous look, every protective gesture, every moment of tenderness. Emma slowly lowered her hands. Tears filled her eyes. I remember everything. The words came easily now, when Sophia wasn't there to hear them. I remember kissing you. A tear slipped down Emma's cheek, and I remember you kissing me back. Emma closed her eyes. The memory was painfully clear. Sophia's hand behind her neck. Sophia pulling her closer. Sophia stopping. Because Emma had been drinking, and then asking her the next morning if she remembered. Emma wiped her cheek. I'm sorry, Sophia. Her voice broke. I was scared. A bitter little laugh escaped her, and now she looked around the empty room. I've hurt you instead. Emma finally understood. She had been so afraid Sophia might break her heart, that she'd protected herself first, and in doing so, she had broken Sophia's, about midnight. Emma looked at the clock. Her worry had become impossible to control. She called again. This time, the phone didn't ring. Emma frowned. She tried once more. Nothing. Her face slowly changed. Sophia's phone was off. Emma immediately stood. Sophia, she called again. Nothing. Her heart began racing. What if something happened? She started pacing. Maybe she should call the driver. Maybe grandfather knew where Sophia was. Maybe Emma stopped. Her hands were trembling. No. She looked toward the dark windows. Please be okay. At that moment, Emma didn't care about the kiss. She didn't care about the lie. She didn't care if Sophia came home angry. She didn't even care if Sophia never wanted to kiss her again. She just wanted her home, safe. Because suddenly, the thought of something happening to Sophia terrified her more than rejection ever could. 12:10, nothing. 12:20, still nothing. Emma remained near the entrance now. She couldn't sit anymore. Her eyes kept moving between the clock, her phone, and the front windows. Then, at 12:30, light suddenly moved across the walls. Emma froze. Headlights. A car was coming up the driveway. She rushed toward the window. A familiar black car stopped outside. Emma's heart jumped. The rear door opened, and Sophia stepped out. Emma stared at her. For 1 second, she couldn't move. Sophia was okay. She was standing, walking, safe. Emma's eyes immediately filled with tears. Sophia. She didn't think. She didn't stop to put on shoes. She didn't care that she was crying. Emma ran. The front door opened. Sophia had barely reached the entrance. When she heard footsteps, she looked up. Emma was running toward her. Before Sophia could say anything, Emma threw both arms around her, hard. Sophia froze. Emma buried her face against Sophia's shoulder. Her entire body trembled. Where were you? Sophia remained still. Emma's arms tightened around her. I called you. Her voice broke. I kept calling you. Sophia slowly looked down at her. Why didn't you answer me? Emma was crying now, not quietly, not trying to hide it. Sophia could feel the tears against her shoulder. for one moment, her expression almost softened. Almost. But then, she remembered the morning. Emma's confused expression. Did I do something? And Sophia's own foolish hope. The pain returned. Emma finally pulled back, but she didn't completely let go. Her hands remained around Sophia's arms. Her eyes desperately searched Sophia's face, then her shoulders, her hands, as though checking for herself that Sophia was really okay. Are you okay? Sophia stared at her. Did something happen? No answer. Emma's voice became desperate. Please say something. Sophia looked into Emma's tearful eyes, then quietly asked, Why do you care? Emma froze. What? Sophia gently removed Emma's hands from her arms, not roughly, but enough to put distance between them. Why do you care where I was? Emma stared at her. Because you've been gone all day. I didn't know if you were okay. Sophia gave a small, painful laugh. You don't remember last night. Emma's heart dropped. Sophia looked away. So why does any of this matter? Emma opened her mouth, but Sophia had already walked past her, into the mansion. Emma immediately followed. Sophia, wait. Sophia kept walking. Please. Sophia stopped in the grand entrance hall. Her back remained toward Emma. Emma approached carefully. I know you're angry. Sophia's shoulders tensed. But please. Emma's voice broke again. Don't tell me I don't care. That made Sophia turn around. Emma stopped. Sophia's eyes were shining. She had tears in them, but she was fighting them. Then what am I supposed to think, Emma? Emma stared at her. Sophia took a shaky breath. You held my hand. Emma's eyes lowered. You asked me not to leave. Sophia's voice trembled. You told me you didn't regret it. Emma felt tears return to her eyes. And then, Sophia stopped. Her composure cracked. You kissed me. A tear finally escaped. Sophia immediately wiped it away, almost angry at herself for letting Emma see it. You kissed me first, Emma? Emma couldn't speak. Sophia continued. I stopped. Do you remember that? Emma's heart tightened. Sophia laughed bitterly. Of course you don't. Emma flinched. Sophia looked away. I stopped because you'd been drinking. Because I didn't want to take something from you that you might regret when you were sober. Emma stared at her. Sophia looked back. But you told me you didn't regret it. Her voice became quieter. You told me. Ask me tomorrow. Sophia's eyes filled again. So I did. Emma covered her mouth. Sophia shook her head. I barely slept last night. I kept thinking about what you would say this morning. Her voice cracked. And then you looked at me and asked if something happened. Emma started crying. Sophia. No. Sophia's voice wasn't loud, but Emma immediately became silent. Sophia wiped another tear. Do you know how stupid I felt? You promised me an answer. And when morning came, her voice broke completely. Apparently, it was nothing important. Emma shook her head. No, it hadn't been nothing. It had meant everything. But Sophia wasn't finished. And this time, Emma knew she had to let her speak. Sophia took a small step back. Her voice was no longer cold. It wasn't the voice of Sophia Bennett, CEO of Bennett Corporation. It was simply Sophia, hurt, vulnerable, and tired of pretending she wasn't. I can handle you not feeling the same way. Emma immediately shook her head, but Sophia continued before she could speak. I can handle rejection. I can handle you telling me that last night was a mistake. Her voice trembled. What I can't understand is why you made me believe it meant something. Emma's tears fell faster. Sophia pressed one hand lightly against her chest. You kissed me first. You asked me to remember. You told me to ask you again when you were sober. And then, her voice cracked. You forgot. Emma tried to speak. I didn't. Sophia looked directly into her eyes. Then what was it, Emma? Silence. Emma couldn't answer. Not yet. Sophia shook her head. Do you know what you did to me today? Emma remained still. Sophia laughed softly through her tears. Not because anything was funny, because she couldn't believe she was actually saying any of this aloud. I couldn't even look at you, because every time I did, I remembered you kissing me. Emma's breath caught. Sophia continued. I remembered holding you. I remembered you asking me to stay. I remembered the way you looked at me. A tear rolled slowly down her cheek. And I remembered how happy I was. Emma's expression crumbled. She'd never heard Sophia say something like that. Sophia Bennett had been happy because Emma kissed her. Sophia looked away. I spent the entire night thinking about you, about that kiss, about what you said. Ask me tomorrow. She looked back at Emma. So I waited for tomorrow. Her voice became quieter. I was terrified to ask you. Emma blinked. Sophia gave a tiny, broken laugh. Yes, me. I was terrified. Emma's eyes filled again, but I asked anyway. Sophia swallowed. Because for once, I wanted something to be real. Her voice broke. I wanted you to mean it. Emma took an instinctive step toward her. Sophia stepped back. That stopped Emma immediately. Sophia wasn't finished. And then morning came. You looked at me and acted like none of it happened. Emma shook her head desperately. Sophia, no. Sophia's tears were falling freely now. You let me believe that I was the only one who remembered, the only one who cared. Emma covered her mouth. Sophia's voice rose for the first time. You kissed me first, Emma. You made me believe you wanted me. And then, her voice broke. You played with my feelings. Emma immediately shook her head. I would never, but you did. Silence. Sophia froze. Even she seemed surprised by how loudly the words had escaped. She looked away, her breathing uneven. Emma didn't defend herself. She didn't interrupt, because Sophia deserved to say everything. Emma had made her feel. Sophia slowly lowered her voice. I stopped you last night. Emma looked at her. Because you were drunk. Because I couldn't let myself believe that you really wanted me. Sophia touched her chest. But when you told me to ask you tomorrow, I believed you. Another tear slipped down her cheek. I let myself hope. Emma's heart pounded. Sophia's voice became barely more than a whisper. I let myself. She hesitated, as though even now, admitting it was terrifying. Want you. Emma stopped breathing. Sophia shook her head. And this morning, you made me feel like an idiot for believing you. Sophia, I don't understand you. The words kept coming. Everything Sophia had held inside. All day, all night, was finally pouring out. You tell me you don't regret kissing me. You ask me to wait until you're sober. Then you wake up and act like you don't remember anything. Sophia looked directly into Emma's eyes. What was I supposed to think? Emma's heart hammered against her chest. Sophia continued. That it was some kind of joke? That you were playing with me because... Emma moved. Sophia barely had time to react. Emma crossed the small distance between them, rose onto her toes, caught Sophia gently by the face, and kissed her. Sophia's eyes widened. Every unfinished word disappeared. Emma didn't pull away. This wasn't the uncertain kiss from last night. There was no alcohol, no confusion, no excuse. Emma knew exactly what she was doing, and exactly who she was kissing. For one heartbeat, Sophia remained frozen. Then, her eyes slowly closed. Her hand rose, sliding gently behind Emma's neck, her other arm wrapped around Emma's waist, and Sophia kissed her back. Emma's fingers slipped softly into Sophia's hair. Sophia pulled her closer. Neither woman cared about the tears still on their cheeks. Neither cared about the argument. For those few seconds, nothing existed beyond the woman in front of them. Eventually, they had to breathe. Their lips slowly separated, but neither stepped away. Sophia's arm remained wrapped around Emma's waist. Emma's hands remained gently against Sophia's face. Their foreheads touched. Both were breathing unevenly. Sophia slowly opened her eyes. Emma was already looking at her, and finally, Emma said the words she should have said that morning. "I remember." Sophia became still. Emma gently brushed one of Sophia's tears away. "I remember everything." Sophia stared at her. Emma continued softly. "I remember holding your hand. I remember asking you to stay. I remember kissing you." Her cheeks turned slightly pink. "And I remember you kissing me back." Sophia's expression changed. Confusion appeared first, then realization, then hurt. She slowly pulled her forehead away. "You remember?" Emma nodded. "Yes." Sophia stared at her. "Then why?" Her voice broke again. "Why did you lie to me?" Emma lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry." Sophia remained silent. Emma took a shaky breath. "I lied because I was scared." Sophia's brows pulled together. Emma looked back up. "When I woke up, I remembered everything, and I realized I still wanted you." Sophia's eyes softened slightly. "But I didn't know if you felt the same." Emma swallowed. "I didn't know if you kissed me back because you wanted to, or because I kissed you first." Sophia stared at her. "I thought, if I told you I remembered, you might tell me it was a mistake." Emma's voice cracked. "Or that you regretted it. So when you asked, I panicked." A tear rolled down Emma's cheek. "I thought if I pretended I didn't remember, then I wouldn't have to hear you say that you didn't want me." Sophia's expression softened completely. Emma shook her head. "But instead, I hurt you. I'm sorry." Her voice became smaller. "I'm so sorry, Sophia." For several seconds, Sophia said nothing. Her arm was still around Emma's waist. The anger hadn't completely disappeared. Neither had the hurt. But now, she understood. Sophia looked into Emma's eyes. "You were scared I didn't want you?" Emma gave a tiny nod. Sophia stared at her. Then, a quiet sigh escaped her. "You really are an idiot." Emma almost laughed through her tears. "I know." Sophia's expression softened. "But you still hurt me." Emma nodded immediately. "I know. And I'm sorry." Sophia looked at her for another long moment. Emma lowered her eyes. Then, she remembered something. Something Sophia had asked her to do. Something Emma had promised. She slowly looked back up. "You told me to tell you tomorrow." Sophia became still. Emma swallowed. "Whether I still wanted to kiss you." Neither moved. Emma gave a tiny, nervous smile. "Well, it's tomorrow." Sophia's breath caught. Emma moved a little closer. "I'm sober." She looked directly into Sophia's eyes. "And I still want to kiss you." Sophia said nothing. So Emma continued. Her voice trembled, but this time, not because she wanted to run, because she was finally ready to stay. "And I don't only want to kiss you tonight." Sophia blinked. Emma smiled through her tears. I want to kiss you tomorrow too, and the day after that. Sophia's eyes began filling again. Emma slowly reached down and took Sophia's hand. Their fingers touched, then intertwined, and Emma whispered, "Every day you'll let me." For once, Sophia Bennett had absolutely nothing to say. Emma looked down at their joined hands. Her heart was pounding, because there was still one thing. She hadn't told Sophia. One truth she'd barely been brave enough to admit to herself. Emma looked back up, because the truth is, she took a shaky breath. "I never thought I would ever feel this way about you." Sophia watched her silently. Emma gave a tiny laugh. "You were my terrifying boss." The corner of Sophia's mouth almost lifted. Emma continued, "And then, you became the person I looked for in every room, the person I wanted beside me, the person whose stupid little smiles, somehow, became my favorite thing." Sophia's eyes softened. "The person I wanted to come home to." Emma's voice cracked. "The person I worried about for 12 hours today." A tear slipped down her cheek, and somewhere along the way, Emma squeezed Sophia's hand. "I fell in love with you." Sophia froze. Emma looked directly into her eyes. No alcohol, no excuses, no fear left to hide behind. "I love you." And Sophia Bennett, silence, 1 second, 2, 3. Sophia simply stared at her. Emma's confidence slowly disappeared. "You don't have to say—" She never finished. Sophia pulled her into her arms. Emma froze. Sophia held her tightly, tighter than she ever had before, as though she'd spent far too long stopping herself from doing exactly this. Emma's eyes closed. Her arms slowly wrapped around Sophia. Neither spoke. They simply held each other. After everything, the contract, the wedding, the jealousy, the honeymoon, the kiss, the lie, the fear, they were finally standing there, without pretending. Sophia eventually pulled back, only slightly. Her eyes were still wet, but this time, she was smiling, a real smile. She gently brushed a tear from Emma's cheek, then leaned forward and pressed a long, tender kiss against Emma's forehead. Emma's eyes slowly closed. Sophia stayed there for a moment. When she finally pulled away, their foreheads rested together, and Sophia whispered, "I love you too." Emma's eyes opened. Sophia smiled through her tears. "My idiot." Emma blinked, then a tiny laugh escaped her. "Your idiot?" Sophia nodded. "Yes." Emma stared at her, half crying, half smiling. Sophia's hand remained against her cheek. Then Sophia's expression became serious. Not cold, not distant, simply sincere. "I love you, Emma." Emma's smile disappeared for just a second, only because hearing those words nearly made her cry all over again. Sophia continued softly, "I think I've loved you longer than I was willing to admit." Emma let out a broken little laugh, then buried her face against Sophia's shoulder. "You really had to make me cry twice tonight?" Sophia wrapped her arms around her. "You started it." Emma laughed against her shoulder, and Sophia laughed too. They stayed like that for a little longer. Eventually, Emma lifted her head. "Sophia." Emma's expression softened. "I'm sorry." Sophia looked at her. "I'll never pretend to forget something like that again." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "You'd better not." Emma blinked, then smiled. "Bossy." Sophia stared at her. A tiny smile appeared. "Idiot." Emma laughed, and this time, Sophia laughed with her. Eventually, Sophia glanced toward the staircase. It was well past midnight. She started walking, then stopped. Emma was still standing behind her. Sophia looked back, and a moment later, Emma reached for her hand, not accidentally, not because she'd been drinking, not because she needed Sophia to stop her from leaving. This time, Emma chose it. Her fingers slipped between Sophia's, intertwining them deliberately. Sophia looked down, then gently tightened her fingers around Emma's. Emma smiled. "Come on." Sophia looked at her. "Where?" Emma raised an eyebrow. "Our room?" Sophia blinked. Emma laughed. "We do live in the same room, remember?" Sophia finally smiled. "I remember." Together, they walked upstairs, hand in hand, toward the bedroom. They had already been sharing, but tonight, crossing that doorway felt completely different. Their marriage had begun with a contract, rules, conditions, an expiration date. They had promised each other no expectations, no complications, and certainly no love. Somewhere along the way, they had broken every rule that mattered. Last night, Emma had kissed Sophia when alcohol had taken away her fear. Tonight, completely sober, Emma had chosen her, and Sophia had chosen Emma too. They reached their bedroom. Emma stepped inside. Sophia followed, and quietly closed the door behind them. Click. Emma stopped. Suddenly, she became very aware of where they were. They had slept in this room together countless times, shared the same bed, woken up beside each other, argued over pillows, pretended the space between them meant nothing. But tonight, there was nothing left to pretend. Emma slowly turned around. Sophia was still standing near the door, watching her. Neither spoke. Emma's cheeks slowly turned pink. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Sophia tilted her head. "Like what?" Emma swallowed. "Like..." She looked away. "That." The smallest smile appeared on Sophia's lips. Then, she slowly walked toward Emma. One step, then another. Emma's heartbeat quickened. Sophia stopped close to her. "You're nervous." Emma immediately shook her head. "I'm not." Sophia looked at her cheeks. "You're blushing." Emma touched her face. "It's warm in here." Sophia glanced around the bedroom. "It's not." Emma narrowed her eyes. "You're enjoying this way too much." Sophia's smile grew slightly. "Maybe." Emma stared at her, then quietly laughed, but neither stepped away. The laughter slowly faded. Sophia gently reached up and tucked a loose strand of Emma's hair behind her ear. Emma became still. Their eyes met. Sophia's voice softened. "Emma." A tiny pause. "Do you really want to say goodnight?" Emma's breath caught. Her eyes dropped, just briefly, toward Sophia's lips, then returned to her eyes. And slowly, a shy smile appeared. Emma stepped closer, until almost no space remained between them. Then she whispered, "Who said I was ready to sleep?" Sophia froze. Emma smiled, then gently caught Sophia by the collar and pulled her just a little closer. And for the first time since their wedding, the bedroom door was closed. Their feelings were no longer a secret, and neither of them had a contract left to hide behind. If you're enjoying Emma and Sophia's story, please subscribe. And tell me in the comments, Mihoi, what do you think will happen tonight? Your support really motivates me to keep making more episodes.